The story begins on the coastal island of Celia, a small fishing village where young Lydia lives with her grandmother Esther and her older brother Thaddeus. Lydia is a spirited and determined girl who dreams of following in her mother's footsteps. Her mother, Eshara, was an astromancer, a powerful magic user who could command the stars and the sea. But she perished in a shipwreck on the Mist Sea years ago along with her father, the captain of the Albatross. Lydia has always felt a deep connection to her mother's memory, even though she barely remembers her, and she carries a special memory stone that belonged to Eshara, a stone that holds fragments of her mother's past. On the day of her birthday, a significant milestone in Celia where children are expected to choose their future profession, Lydia surprises her grandmother by declaring that she wants to go to the Almaluz Observatory and become an astromancer, just like her mother. Esther is horrified by this news. She forbids Lydia from even considering such a dangerous path, reminding her that the Mist Sea, which Lydia would have to cross to reach Almaluz, is cursed and claimed the lives of her parents. Esther insists that Lydia stay safe in Celia and take up a humble trade like cheese-making or carpentry, but Lydia is stubborn and refuses to back down. She believes that becoming an astromancer might one day help her understand what truly happened to her parents, and she is determined to honor her mother's legacy. Thaddeus, Lydia's older brother, tries to comfort her. He gives her their mother's memory stone, which Esther had been saving until Lydia was old enough to understand its significance. The memory stone is deeply personal to Lydia, but she struggles to connect with it. Every time she tries, she feels overwhelmed by the painful memories it contains, especially the memory of her mother's final moments. She cannot bring herself to fully embrace the stone, and this failure to connect with her own memories becomes a recurring obstacle in her magical journey. Not long after, a dense fog storm suddenly sweeps across Celia, an unnatural event that terrifies the villagers. The storm is unlike anything they have ever seen, and it emerges directly from the Mist Sea. In the chaos, Thaddeus is drawn toward the water as if by some unseen force. Lydia sees him being lured away, walking into the sea as if in a trance, and she screams for him to come back. But Thaddeus does not respond. He is being pulled into the mist by a mysterious entity known as the Spellbinder, a sinister figure who has been kidnapping children from coastal villages for a long time. Without a moment's hesitation, Lydia dives into the mist after her brother, determined to save him no matter the cost. Lydia finds herself floating in an endless, eerie fog. She feels lost and terrified, unable to see anything clearly. Suddenly, she is surrounded by strange visions of her past, particularly the shipwreck that took her parents. She sees her mother, weak and dying, and hears her final words. The memory is so painful that Lydia wants to escape, but she cannot break free from the illusion. Just when she feels she is about to drown in the fog, a small rescue boat called a maquette appears and pulls her aboard. She is rescued by the crew of the Dolphin, a mist ship that patrols the Mist Sea searching for lost children. The ship is captained by the stern but kind Captain Thaddeus, and its crew includes a young boy named Lucas, the captain's son, and the powerful astromancer known as Lady Ambrosia. Lydia wakes up on the Dolphin, disoriented and frightened. She quickly explains that her brother Thaddeus was taken by the Spellbinder, and she begs the crew to help her rescue him. The crew explains that the Spellbinder has been abducting children for years, stealing their memories to fuel his dark magic, and they have been hunting him for a long time without success. Lydia is devastated but refuses to give up. She insists on staying aboard the Dolphin to help find her brother, and Captain Thaddeus reluctantly agrees, allowing her to stay as a deckhand while they search for the Spellbinder. Lydia is assigned to share a cabin with Lucas, and the two quickly form an unlikely friendship. Lucas is cheerful and mischievous, but he also carries his own burdens. His mother, Ambrosia, has grown cold and distant ever since she lost her own child to the Mist Sea. And Lucas often feels ignored and unloved. Despite his playful exterior, he secretly worries that his mother does not care about him. Lydia, in turn, is determined, brave, and fiercely protective of her brother. The two become allies, with Lydia pushing Lucas to be more honest about his feelings and Lucas helping Lydia navigate the complexities of life on a mist ship. Lydia is desperate to learn astromagic so she can help find her brother. She begs Ambrosia to take her on as an apprentice, but Ambrosia is cold and dismissive. She refuses to teach Lydia, believing that the girl is too young and too emotionally unstable to handle the power of astromagic. Undeterred, Lydia sneaks into Ambrosia's quarters and reads her books on magic, teaching herself the basics. She also discovers the chamber, a mystical space connected to the memory stone where astromancers can access their memories and channel them into magic. When she finally enters the chamber, she sees her mother, but the memory is too painful, and she cannot control it. She fails to connect with the stone, and Ambrosia tells her she is not ready to be an astromancer. While exploring the ship, Lydia overhears Lucas talking to his father about the Spellbinder. Lucas reveals that Ambrosia once told him the Spellbinder is actually her own son, Mael, who was lost to the mist years ago and has since been corrupted by dark magic. Mael steals children's memories to fuel his power, and he has grown increasingly unstable and dangerous over time. Lydia is shocked and furious. She confronts Ambrosia, demanding to know why she kept this secret, but Ambrosia refuses to discuss it. She tells Lydia to stay out of matters that do not concern her. But Lydia is more determined than ever to find her brother, no matter the cost. Desperate to save Thaddeus, Lydia decides to attempt forbidden mist magic, a dangerous and unstable form of magic that consumes the user's memories and drives them insane. She casts a spell to summon hunting dogs made of starlight, called the Canes Venatici, to track her brother's trail. The spell works, and the dogs begin to lead the ship toward the Spellbinder's lair. But the magic is too powerful and chaotic. A violent storm erupts. The ship is battered, and Lucas is thrown overboard. Lydia dives into the raging sea to save him, and together they barely escape being devoured by a massive abyssal shark. The ship is heavily damaged, and the crew is forced to retreat to Almaluz for repairs. Upon arriving at the Almaluz Observatory, Lydia is astonished to learn that Lady Ambrosia is actually the director of the observatory. Ambrosia has been hiding this fact from the crew, pretending to be just another astromancer on the ship. Lydia is brought before Ambrosia, who scolds her for using forbidden magic and endangering the crew. She tells Lydia that her mother would be ashamed of her recklessness, and she warns her that mist magic will only consume her memories and drive her insane. But Ambrosia also sees something in Lydia, a spark of her mother's determination and strength. She takes Lydia to the chamber of the observatory, a vast, starry space filled with the glowing memories of all the astromancers who came before. She helps Lydia connect with her mother's memory stone, and for the first time, Lydia begins to understand the depth of her mother's love and sacrifice. She finally manages to connect to the stone, feeling her mother's presence and finding the strength to continue. But the Spellbinder is not finished with them. He appears in the chamber, manifesting as a dark, ghostly figure. He reveals himself to be Mael, Ambrosia's lost son, and he is more twisted and broken than anyone could have imagined. He has been feeding on children's memories for so long that he has forgotten his own past, his own mother, and his own humanity. He tries to steal Lydia's memories as well, but Ambrosia intervenes, and a desperate magical battle ensues. Mael escapes, but not before Lydia catches a glimpse of his pain and loneliness. She understands that he is not purely evil, he is a lost, frightened child who has been consumed by his own darkness. The Dolphin is repaired, and the crew sets out once more to find the Spellbinder and rescue the children. They navigate through treacherous fog and storms, following the trail of the hunting dogs that Lydia summoned earlier. They eventually discover a hidden island, a strange, dreamlike place where the kidnapped children are playing happily, completely oblivious to the fact that they have been kidnapped and their memories have been stolen. They have forgotten their families, their homes, and their pasts. Among them is Thaddeus, who no longer recognizes Lydia. He is happy, carefree, and has no desire to leave. Lydia is heartbroken but refuses to give up on him. She tries to make him remember Celia, their grandmother, and their mother, but Thaddeus only smiles blankly and tells her that this is his home now. The Spellbinder, Mael, appears and confronts Lydia. He tells her that he has freed the children from pain, fear, and sadness. They are happy in their ignorance, and he offers to do the same for her. He can erase all of her painful memories, including the loss of her parents and the fear of losing Thaddeus. Lydia almost gives in, tempted by the promise of peace, but then she thinks of her mother, of the love and sacrifice that shaped her. She refuses Mael's offer and attacks him with all the magic she can muster. A fierce battle erupts, but Mael is too powerful. He begins to drain Lydia's memories, and she feels herself slipping away, forgetting who she is and why she is fighting. Just when all seems lost, Lydia remembers her mother's words, with the mind, with the heart. She reaches deep into her memory stone, calling upon the purest, most powerful memory she has, her mother's love. A brilliant light erupts from the stone, and she channels it into a spell that shatters Mael's control over the children. Thaddeus wakes from his trance and finally recognizes his sister. The other children also begin to remember their pasts, and they are terrified and confused. Mael is furious and attacks again, but Ambrosia arrives with the Dolphin. She confronts her son one last time, telling him that she still loves him and that he can still be saved. Mael is torn between his mother's love and the darkness that has consumed him. In a moment of hesitation, Lydia and Ambrosia strike, shattering his memory stone and breaking his power forever. Mael is weakened, but he is not destroyed. He disappears into the mist, broken and alone, but Ambrosia believes that one day he may find his way back. The children are rescued and taken back to their families. Lydia is overjoyed to have her brother back, and Thaddeus is grateful to have been saved. He does not remember much of his time with the Spellbinder, but he knows that his sister risked everything to bring him home. The villagers of Celia celebrate the return of the lost children, and Esther is overwhelmed with relief and gratitude. Lydia, having proven her courage and her magical ability, is accepted as an apprentice at the Almaluz Observatory. She says goodbye to her family, promising to write and to visit whenever she can. As she sails away on the Dolphin, she looks back at Celia with a heart full of love and determination. She knows that the path ahead will not be easy, but she is ready for the challenge. She is an astromancer, just like her mother, and she will make her family proud. She is also determined to one day help Mael, to find a way to bring him back from the darkness. Because she knows that even the most lost soul can be saved with the power of memory and love. The story ends with Lydia embracing her new life, her old hat safely tucked away, and her heart full of hope for the future. She is no longer the frightened girl who lost her brother to the mist. She is a hero, a protector, and a true astromancer. The mist sea still rages. The Spellbinder is still out there somewhere, and the future holds many dangers. But Lydia is no longer afraid. She has found her strength, her purpose, and her family. She is ready to face whatever comes next, with her mind, her heart, and the power of the stars to guide her. The journey of Lydia and the Mist Rider is just beginning, and her story will be told for generations to come.